Hello, in this video we'll show you how to run the portfolio forecaster report. So after logging into PropertyDirector, click Reports in the top navigation. Now if you scroll down, go to the section of the reports which shows forecasting tools. So click the portfolio forecaster report. Now this is one of the most used areas of PropertyDirector for the basic plan users. So what the portfolio forecaster does is it forecasts the value of the investor's portfolio going forward 10 years based on historical data patterns. So after getting to this screen, tick the properties that you would like to forecast. So we'll tick 5 properties here. And now PropertyDirector gives you a number of different options to configure the forecast. So by default, the forecast defaults to 5 years, but let's go forward 10 years. It allows you to specify the loan repayment pattern, so you can continue paying off your loan based on all the information you've put into the bookkeeping system. So it'll automatically work out over that 10-year period as you pay off your loan. Let's just keep it standard and continue the current loan repayment pattern. But you can also specify additional repayments. So you can say, for example, I want to fast track my repayments, and you can say I want to pay down the principal at $10,000 per year. But we'll just keep it simple in this case. We'll just use a standard loan repayment pattern. For the interest rates pattern, we'll assume that the interest rates remain steady. Of course, interest rates do fluctuate. So what you can do is you can specify over that period if the interest rates are going to go up a particular amount. You can say whether it's 0.5%, 1.5%, or you can specify your own rate change. And if you do that, the system will know, depending on what you inputted in your portfolio, whether it's a fixed rate or a variable rate, and it'll only apply the interest rate increase for the variable period. And finally, the system asks you how you want to forecast it. So by default, the system bases the growth for the next 10 years based on the historic annual capital growth for each of the suburbs that you've ticked, and depending on whether it's on the property type, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a townhouse, whether it's a house or a piece of land, the system, because we have got partnerships with high-profile data suppliers, we've got all of the data that goes back 30 years. So our algorithm will forecast it going forward 10 years based on the last 30 years. That's usually a pretty good indicator, but you can also specify less than that. You can go back 20 years or basically anything from 1 year to 30 years. Let's make it 30 years. Now hit Forecast Portfolio. Okay, so the forecast has been performed, and if you see here, you'll see a line chart here showing the 10 years on the x-axis, and on the y-axis you'll see the value of each of the properties as they grow over that period. So there's one line chart for each of the investment properties in the portfolio. So you can see here there's quite significant growth for some of these properties. If you go down, there's also a tabular representation of the forecast. So you'll see here for each property, it shows you the property value as it grows over that 10-year period, and also the loan outstanding over that 10-year period. In this case, all of these are interest-only loans, so the loan outstanding remains the same. But if it was a principal and interest loan, you'll see the loan outstanding as it gets paid off based on the calculations that are inbuilt within PropertyDirector. And at the bottom, you see the equity each year as it grows, which is the property value minus the loan outstanding. So the same concepts applied for each property in the user's portfolio, and at the bottom, you'll see the final equity amount. So currently, the portfolio equity is about $1.1 million, and if it grows the portfolio grows at the same rate across all of these properties over the 10-year period, the equity will be about $3 million over that period. You'll also notice here that the property values for each of these different properties in the user's portfolio grow at different rates. That's because the algorithm takes into account the location of each of the properties, which is what makes this quite a valuable tool for our investors. That was all. We hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.